Welcome, everyone, to News Evolution with Laura, Patty, and Alfred. So over to you, Laura.
Hey, it's great to be with you guys. News Evolution, we do about once a month. It's always amazing to come together. Alfred's on his third book of a series of books on top of all the books he's already written. Patty Greer is just epic, like Alfred, who's a filmmaker of all the crop circle movies and just continues to be a major advocate, especially with what's going on in Colorado. This geoengineering bioweaponry is at an all-time high because in the face of humanity awakening, they're tightening their grips. I mean, that's all they can do is manipulate the minds. And what I've been feeling very personally is all the false narratives connected to my great-grandfather Eisenhower coming at me, and even ruder ways than before, because my friend and colleague, Dan Winter, who I've hosted on a number of webinars and online events, has basically said publicly that Eisenhower is responsible directly for raping, torturing, and child trafficking millions of people. And I reached out to him with all the kind of rebuttal of all the information that I've gained over the years on top of my relationship with him, and he unfriended me. So this is part of this mass division that is not just in the here and now. This stems back to 1947 and the Second World War and Project Mockingbird and all the MK Ultra projects that have come in trying to rewrite history. I have no blame or judgment on anybody that are steering those false narratives. But if you're going to have a round table and you're going to talk about my great grandfather, you should include me, because I'm not just out here not going down every rabbit hole known to man when it comes to this subject from a very neutral, non-biased perspective. Because when I did think he might have done that, I was willing to expose it, but I just ended up finding more. So I'm kind of in my pain body about it, but I'm trying to find neutrality. But he was on a panel with a lot of other good friends, colleagues, and nobody corrected him. Nobody said, you shouldn't be talking about this unless you have Laura Eisenhower on, because if you didn't notice, I've been talking about this for the last 10 years. So that's the latest coming up. I don't want to make it about me, but it's like everything is reaching ahead. And I just, I feel it personally with the censorship, and it sucks to be in service to people that hate you, no matter how much you're trying to do. And that's why I love being in your guys' company, because you don't ever back down, and you've remained solid and supportive friends. And we know, Eisenhower, and I know he did not vibe with the government structure and was more about the awakening of all of us being leaders and being a knowledgeable and alert citizenry. And so that's kind of my week, but it's okay. I just wish we could have more mature conversations without all this dismissal and rejection. It's been a very difficult coming from friends and colleagues. And to, it's like accusing somebody that saved a rapist or somebody that's in a house fire, like a fireman. It's like telling him that you're the one that set the fire, when it couldn't be further from the truth. So as much as I try not to take it personally, I'm like the piñata, because I've been willing to put my neck out there. But to be accused is hard not to. It's like, if you're dedicating your life to be in service to humanity and your whole family line, you're calling out child trafficking, interviewing people that have gone through these experiences, pedophilia, satanic ritual abuse, MK Ultra, and I'm in service to humanity every day. And I know Eisenhower was in service to humanity, working with benevolent star beings and setting up the positive military. That to accuse him of these sort of things, I can understand from a troll, but somebody like Dan Winter with Sasha Stone and others sitting on the panel without having my back and saying, you know what, you should invite Laura on, I'm very disappointed. So sorry, I'm in that rant. I want to hear what you guys have to say. That's kind of where I'm at.
Well, Laura, I'm very sorry that happened, because the last time that you and I were together, we were able to play excerpts from your great-grandfather's military-industrial complex speech, which he and Milton Eisenhower, his brother, wrote, and which is a legacy speech that he left all of humanity with. and which was an elevating a speech and body of knowledge. And I'm so grateful that you were able to interview me on the leak that I got from the CIA top secret time travel unit in 1977 at Stanford Research Institute. When they told me in January of 1977, my first month there as a futurist, they had a 50-year contract to study the future 50 years of the USA, that the US might be broken up into separate regions. So with that and the impact of the invading pathogenic artificial intelligence, I see the experience that you had as a symptom of what's going on in the US and on the planet at large with the invasion of AI and with the separation that people are becoming AI trained and losing their humanity. So that's my feedback.
Yeah, with rewritten history. So it goes also like beyond that, the weaponry, like you're saying, of also, you know, what people read and what people study and research. Because I remember, as we all do in high school, people are led to believe that the Second World War was won. And with all the years of exposure of people, you know, calling out MK Ultra, satanic ritual abuse, actual victims, you know, authors like yourselves, it's just amazing that, you know, especially with the kind of background you have, that would be dismissed in people's right mind, common sense, or any connection with their soul. I don't know why it's worth it to put our children at risk like this. I mean, hearing Patty being called a bigot and all this because of what's happening in Colorado, because she's standing up against, you know, the transgender program. And you've taken so many slings, Alfred, and at your age, you're proving that we get younger when we get older, and that there's nothing we can't do. You're an inspiration every day. I just can't even believe it. And you've been calling out so much. So again, I'm just thrilled to be in your guys' company. And I'm sorry, I'm going to be distracted a little bit. We had a bit of a thing go on, but that's all I can really share right now. I wish I had more to present. I know next time I'll have a PowerPoint. And this is keeping people from being able to work together. But those that are dedicated to unity are not going to give up. And regardless, even worst case scenario, if Eisenhower had done anything like he's being accused of, aren't all of us here to right the wrongs of our ancestors and raise the vibration? He just so happens to have not done those things. But I think some of the ones that are throwing the biggest attack are the biggest stuff to hide, and they have some kind of shame that they're hiding, because, you know, at this stage in the game, there should be nothing but camaraderie and unification and being a part of these greater dialogues, in order to make sure that every voice is heard that has done any level of research. Because how would Dan Winter know? Was he there? No. Does he have access to above top secret information? Probably not. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to rant about me, but
Oh, no,
Oh,
no,
we don't blame you. You and
Yeah.
I did a show together recently on SGT, and it was less than a week. It had, my God, 180,000 views, I think. And you were so upset at the comments, and they were strangely cruel. I didn't see the one calling me a bigot for my comment on the movement, the agenda of the false trans.
no, this was, you posted it on Facebook, I believe. It was just connected to calling out some stuff in Colorado, not on SGT.
Oh, okay. Well,
And then I commented, and then I tagged you, and then you remember the woman, and you were like, wow, I have no words, and then I deleted her.
I guess I don't recall, but you know, now you've inspired me. What I wanted to bring today, just to open, is to congratulate every single person that's here with us listening to the show, that you made it through 3 years of the human transgressional. I think I would call it almost a spiritual colonic. Like, we had to come through the smallest little tube to get here today. and it has been grueling for most people.
A kidney stone trying to get through
Like a kidney stone. That's another one. I mean, there's so many words for what we just survived, but all of us that are here listening to the show, we survived. Like, amazing. And when I think of the people that are wasting time insulting Laura or insulting me or insulting Alfred, I don't see too many, but when they do, they just keep going like one insult after another, and you just almost have to coddle them and say, okay, block, delete.
Oh, it only
I have no
reinforces
patience.
truth. It only reinforces truth.
Yes, it does. But
Normally I'm not so thrown back except for from friends, I guess, colleagues.
well, or what you thought was a friend, you know.
Right.
We have to kind of not be so optimistic about everyone. I've had a lot of people that I thought were friends for years turn into skank. I mean, like, I can't even find one good thing. And what we've seen is such a social pile of unrest where rioting is called peaceful, and people that are rescuing society from criminals on trains or buses or subways are the ones getting arrested. The heroes are getting arrested. And in California, where most people are leaving, I find it most mind-boggling that they're changing the laws to really favor the thieves. Now, it was bad enough that they said you can steal $950 worth and not be arrested. It's like, that's insane. But now they're making it so store owners are not allowed to stop criminals. And a criminal is a criminal. You know, they're not just pedestrians. They're not just more people shopping. They are people that are there to steal intentionally, and the government is allowing it and actually encouraging it, which is ever so strange to me. And what's even more strange is I think more people have left California than any other state, and probably more than ever in history, because they've got this this person, Captain Gavin Newsom, and he's done such an incredibly bad
Gavin
job.
No Balls.
Pardon me?
Oh, sorry, I just said Gavin No Balls.
Oh, that's what I thought you said. I didn't want the audience to miss it. Oh, that was graceful. So here he is, Nancy Pelosi's nephew, and he's just about destroyed California, just like the Biden person has really done a number on America. So now we're going to maybe move this guy into the White House. They say he's measuring the curtains. They say he's chumming up to Biden. It's like, why would anybody want what he's done to California to have anything to do with the rest of the country?
Unless you're helping Biden with Walker.
Huh?
Chumming up to Biden.
Oh, they're chummy. Yeah, they're chummy because, I don't know if Biden realizes even his own party is kind of done with him, or the charade. I don't even know what to call it. And again, I don't want to get in trouble from the audience, but I think the three of us are too intuitive to buy what's going on. And when people say it's a movie, enjoy it, have popcorn, it's like, no, people are getting hurt. People died. A lot of people
Yeah, that's
died.
why I can't just I sit back and just eat the popcorn. My empathy and sadness and cares. But yeah, it's a movie, but yeah, people are getting hurt. Our children that don't have a chance, that are coming in with open hearts and minds. That's where that line has to be drawn.
Well, adults with open hearts and minds.
Well, that's why it's like, get over victim consciousness or denial. So heal your inner child so you can take care of future generations and your own children,
Indeed.
Was that easy for any of us? No, we're not happy messengers. I mean, we're going to stay positive. We're going to be healthy to the best that we can be. But yeah.
Well, I just want to say I'm sorry that we, Gathy's, hacks that are, writing these negative things. And we have to really look at the bigger picture, which is here we are on social media. We're putting ourselves out to the world. We talk to people in so many different countries without even knowing it. And we open our hearts and minds, like you said. I don't always plan what I'm going to say. I like to go with the flow because the three of us are real members of the Patriot movement right now. We give a flying care. I wear a flag shirt around Boulder, Colorado sometimes just to say, you can either talk to me or use me as a friggin' target. If you hate America that much, what are you doing here? So, as far as these people that are taking the time to make us feel bad, even though I think we're smarter than that, I don't get affected by fools and trolls. I think that there's a combination of they're either really insecure with themselves or they're being paid. And they're in a room full of goons that are being paid. Maybe they got a big pile of
More the people they
cocaine.
impact that wouldn't otherwise give people like you and I the time of day. It's not about them. It's like, I have the big FU finger, big time, no problem. It's all the ones that would otherwise give us a chance or me the chance that won't. And it's just another lost person that's going to buy into a false narrative. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Well, they waste a lot of our audience's time, and that's their point, is to distract and to discredit. And when somebody says, I remember a real idiot named GEO, and if he's listening, take care.
Does his
You're
name
blocked.
like begin with Chris?
No. His name is GEO, and I blocked him. And he used to say that my partner in the lab was a fake scientist with the Goonie glasses and the fake lab suit. And meanwhile, my partner has owned the lab 32 years. I mean, that guy works his tail off. And he's the longest running manufacturer of carbon-60 of any of them. He's the only one that supplied the good stuff to all the research tests that have been done on C60. So yeah, he's a real scientist. And this guy, Geo, the tard, or the turd is what I meant to say. I'm sorry, never the other. But
That's why turds get flushed.
He did like sentence after sentence after sentence, just like trying to chop Chris apart. And I was really impressed because I just do a screenshot. I send it to Chris because he doesn't waste his time. I look at comments. My job is bringing in Roseanne Barr, bringing in Laura Eisenhower, bringing in Patriot influencers, that have an audience that trusts and loves them. So then Geo shows up and he hits Laura and I, and he says, I'm going to love this comment. He says, I see two transgender men. That was me and Laura. And so I just
my God, really? Wow.
Yeah.
I had the kids before they were able to do the actual surgery to create pregnant men. Okay. And I got a stretch marks to prove it.
Yeah, I've had two children also and delivered them naturally, which is just a miracle. But no, I don't have issue that I mean to do out loud about that very trans subject. I have two very close friends that have transgender children that they really love, honor, respect.
Yep. And I have a lot of clients with children like this too. And that's very different than what we're talking about when it comes to
the real children that were born perhaps to be confused and then brought into being a different sex for the rest of their lives. There are real ones, but I think that this agenda, pretty much Soros, pretty much Obama's, who's behind it. But I think
it's like abortions being okay after the baby's born.
Oh my
God.
God.
They used to go after women who had infants that died really early, accusing them of murder, wanting to put them away for life.
I think that, they used to burn witches, and it wasn't that they were witches, it's that they were wise women and they knew more than those that burned them. So we're still dealing with that low frequency of competition, but they don't realize that they're no competition, that they are maggots, that they are mosquitoes at a picnic. And if you're being paid to be evil and crappy, I'm sorry for you. There's better jobs. But meanwhile, we're living at a time where I just think it is a miracle that we've survived this long through this subliminal, fifth dimensional, silent war that we know about. We're watching every step of it. But my neighbors and all the people around me, they're having such an easier, happier life. They know none of this. And sometimes I think, God, it would be easier not knowing, not stressing. And all of a sudden, I'm just choosing to not focus on it so much, and I'm sleeping better.
I think
So,
empaths, though, that don't know what we know are in a lot of pain. And a lot of people go to pharmaceutical companies and doctors for depression and anxiety because they feel it, but they don't know what's going on. And if they were to just listen to what that depression and anxiety is trying to tell them, they might want to dig a bit deeper, right? I think about that too.
well, the cool thing is that we have discernment and we need to start using it more. Such as there used to be really great people in my world. They're not here anymore. They chose to have such different beliefs and to go into the derangement syndrome. And I don't mean at a person in particular, but just some people just went absolutely mad these last few years, still wearing masks, still so scared of people, still asking. Yeah, I mean, I'm amazed. I'm amazed that we survived this as a society because it's been
It's a
chronic.
manifestation of denial to the awakening, because this is a bioweapon strategy to weaponize this great initiation and awakening with every tactic to shut down the very aspects of ourselves that need to be open, like unity consciousness, like our throat chakras, like breathing the breath of life. I mean, it's just sick.
Well, it's up to each and every one of us. And I know that I am no longer giving my power away. And I choose to wait to take care of medical issues that I might have a better life if I was willing. But I don't trust doctors right now. I think that until the real doctors grow up and say, I am so sorry, I made a big mistake telling you to do that, and now I have a solution. I hope
Like
that the
Dr.
doctors,
Esteem. Yep.
I don't trust them until they do. And I just went to a dentist and I said, I don't want anything fluoride. Oh, hold on. And she takes the thing she was about to use and comes back with something without fluoride. It's like I said, do you guys not know? Like, it's fluoride is so good for getting rust off a car engine. Really good. Don't fucking put it in my mouth. Excuse me. Sorry. But, it's like the doctors, the dentists, even the good ones, they're still using these things that they have to keep their license. I just am not going to choose to be a part of it. Even if I have to live in a bit of pain, I'm going to wait until integrity returns. So on that note, I'm going to take a breath and say that I really trust integrity is going to return. And deep in my heart and right in the front of my face, I do believe that the white hats are leading this. I think it is a bit of a show, but what a monstrous show. And that's why we need to get everyone, these neighbors that don't see anything, see no evil, hear no evil, smell no evil, or speak no evil. But I think that, we're going to have to get people to stand up. And that's what I said to some people today. And I also said it at the dentist office at the front desk. I can't stop. I can't be silent when we are in this war, that it's going to get serious if we don't awaken more people. But I think enough people have awakened from a deep, deep slumber that we're in a whole new place. And it's never going to be the old normal. Remember in the beginning of all this, they said the new normal? Holy crap. This is really
I
new.
call it, yeah. I call it, yeah, new abnormal, new world order disorder.
We don't want to
It's
say
not,
new world order because we don't want to give
no, it's a
them.
new world disorder and it's abnormal. There's no new world order or new normal. We have not been on that timeline. So
No. Well, again, congratulations. All of us have survived. This has been a hard one. I think all three of us can definitely agree. We've been through hard things in our lives, but as far as a world of people, this last 3 years has been the ultimate test, in my opinion, of humanity. And I think we're passing through the eye of the needle soon, and it's all up from here, I trust.
and I do too. And yeah, and if anybody thinks I'm giving any attention to these trolls or negative, no, I'm just more surprised. But it's okay. Shocking times. Thank you, Patty. Everything you share is always so beautiful.
Well, you know, when people talk about your great grandfather like they know more than you, is like when people tell me all crop circles are made by people. It's like now I just go, oh, you know, I don't have time.
Oh, I
God
know.
bless
I
you.
don't either. It's just
Yeah. You want
it's
a link to my film? I'll give you the free link. I mean, it's
well,
like,
people have a choice.
yeah.
Be on the right side of history and to align with truth. It's just a heavy bifurcation right now. And I feel our investment in the awakening, sometimes invests in people to not be presented with falsities, that have an open mind and are coming from a place of looking to learn, but they're getting it from the wrong sources. So they're going to have to figure it out. We'll
Well,
just
you
do
and
what we
I,
do. Yep.
we've talked about the transgression of ufology. And that's what I believe is going to lead into one of Alfred's inspirations, was that both you and I used to tour with ufology when there were great people speaking. Jim Mars, Stanton Friedman. I go down the list.
Yep.
Bob Dean, Dr. Roger Lear, Cynthia Crawford, Dolores Cannon, endless great speakers. Jim Mars was one of my favorites. He knew history in a way that most people didn't. He fascinated me. And then in the course of a very short period, while we were at the end of my touring, they all left. They died in a short period of time in very strange ways. Not the red scarf hanging on a doorknob way, but they all died in a mysterious ufology way. And then ufology got all these actors that came in and ran bullshit scripts. I'm cussing today because I find this just so low frequency that we've had to tolerate watching ufology be cleaned out of the greats and replaced by actors that are now bickering over whatever. And none of them have really brought anything new. So disclosure has been watered down, but we moved on. You're not talking about just disclosure. Your great grandfather was president. I'm not talking about UFOs because crop circles aren't UFOs. They're not unidentified. They don't fly and they're not objects. So when people say these things, we have to really look beyond. And what is it the Buddha said? He said, and so be it. Like when somebody says something ridiculous, he just nods and says, and so it is, or something, just to let them feel powerful, but to not even go into it. So save your energy, all of you listening. If you go into battle with anybody publicly, realize that a lot of people are having it a lot harder than you. And
boom, you just nailed it right there.
yeah, a lot of people are really having a hard time. So count your blessings. Oh my God, am I doing gratitude dance these days?
Me too. Yes.
All right, Big Al. You sure it says
Alfred.
relax, Alfred. Who gave you that?
Okay, well, thank you. Well, look, I'm going to share a screen and I'm going to go through a bunch of screens to share. Okay, is that okay?
You bet. Turn your
Okay.
volume up a little bit.
Up the volume.
Now I can hear you better. Yeah.
Okay, let me put the microphone closer here. And okay, so let me go to the first screen here. And let me see where that is. I've got to find it. I hope that this is it. Oh, yeah, let me see if this is it. Okay, can you see that 777?
Yes.
Keep seeing angel number 777. What could
Yes.
it mean? Well, today is July 7th, 2023. And so July 7th, 7, and if you add all the numbers in 2023, 2 plus 2 is 4 plus 3 is 7, we're on a 777. So we're on an angel number 777. That is our angel number of our magical gathering today. And what is angel number 777? And the angel number 777, according to this, I keep seeing angel number 777, and what it means is to let go of fear and get into spirituality. And I think that that is what both of you have been saying, and to have, when I'm meditating on a client and I see or hear in my mind the angel number 777, it often means the client might be focusing more on their spiritual life or having a spiritual awakening. So today's news evolution on the 777, that is July 7th, 2023, is like a spiritual awakening. So this sharing is in spiritual awakening and letting go of fear. So that is kind of the spirit of what I'm sharing.
That is huge, Alfred, that you keep going. Wow, cool.
Yeah, well, thank you. And so what I'm sharing is support my initiative to be an Earth representative to the Regional Galactic Governance Council. Can you see that page there? Support my initiative to be an Earth representative to the Regional Galactic Governance Council. Can you see that? Hello?
Yes, totally.
Yeah,
Oh,
totally.
good. And with the Regional Galactic Governance Council, they're like the local, they've overseen affairs on Earth for about 1 million years, and they consist of the Pleiadians, the Alpha Centaurians, the Sirians, and others. And they are the upper dimensional humans. They're up at the 7th density and above, and they oversee stuff on here. Now, let's take an Earth lesson. What if you're in a city and your neighborhood does not have a chair or a representative on the city council? Are your views going to be represented at that city council? Yes or no? It's going to be difficult, right? So I came up with the concept that we need an Earth representative on the Regional Galactic Governance Council. It's elemental, right? It's like an elemental, dear Watson, concept, right? Why
Right.
shouldn't we have a representative there? And I put myself forward, and that's what I've been doing for a whole number of years. And here's my platform. And so it's truth and disclosure, new energy, teleportation, and time travel, implementation of teleportation as a global, regional, and local transportation system, recognition of animals as sentient beings with rights, secure online direct democracy at the local, regional, national level. In other words, the Swiss canton level globally. We don't need parliaments, state legislatures, national congresses, because those are just middle people, and that's where all the power brokers go. We can get secure stuff, and we just vote directly. We vote directly on laws at the city level, at the state level, at the national level, and at the international level. That's what people in the Swiss canton does. They go to the village square and they vote on all the laws. Reinvention of money is a human right and public utility like air, water, and electricity. You know, money is like air, water, or electricity. It's just a public utility. Social guarantees in the form of annual income, healthcare, and elementary, secondary, and post-secondary education of every person on the planet. Right now in the US, the banks take students over for education. So that by the time you have a bachelor's degree in poetry, you're $100,000 in debt and you're a slave for the rest of your life. You know, even Germany gives free higher education. World debt forgiveness, boom, that's a no-brainer. Disenfranchisement of the state power of monarchies, like the Luciferic British crown and the Luciferic Dutch crown, and the Luciferic Belgian crown. I remember when I went to the, anyway, that's a story, I won't get into it. And religions worldwide, that is, the Vatican is now, is a state. It shouldn't be. Criminalization of the war industry. War is just a for-profit industry. Criminal prosecution and conviction of the War Crimes Racketeering Organization. And this can happen through the new positive equation, which is positive future equals positive timeline plus unity consciousness. And that's going to take over the old third density equation, which is problem plus reaction equals solution. So that is my platform, and anybody who wants to join me is welcome to. So there we have that. And so what I did was I started a public petition as an Earth representative, and that's a photo of the Regional Galactic Governance Council ships over New York in 1971. That was October 10th, 1971, which was the day before the UN Outer Space Conference met to consider protocols for what would happen if the extraterrestrials showed up. Now, the governments are saying, oh, you got to beware of the false flag invasion. No, that's how they're spinning it, right? And Steve Greer, they're all spinning it that way. Eddie Bashago saw Steve Greer in the early 1980s and a bunch of guys who were being trained secretly by the CIA to set up the exopolitics and UFO movement. So the CIA was training all these guys who came in. You're absolutely right, Patty, they're all actors. So I set up a public, I set up a petition that people could sign. And, there were people that signed it, and I got so many signatures to sign for me to say, yeah, I want you to be it. And I had it on my Twitter feed and all that, but then that doesn't work. So then what happened, the chronographies, the CIA time travel thing started in 1971. They pre-identified and groomed all the presidents, Bush 1, Bush 2, Clinton, Barack Obama, Trump, and Biden. They all pre-identified them and groomed them starting in 71. So then Biden went and he removed the citizens' petition from the White House webpage. So I couldn't put my petition on the White House webpage, right? They just turned me off. Well, I'm a dual citizen with Canada. So I went to the Canadian Parliament and I started my petition there, right? And so what happened there, I started my petition. Let's go to my petition there. and created on March 20th, 2021 with Jody Wilson Raybo. And there, what happened there? Canadian UFO researcher, that's me. Nothing like being a Gemini, so you can be Canadian American. Official petition to have Canadian government designate him, that's my pronoun, quote, an Earth representative to the Galactic Council, right? So that was my dance that I've been doing. And so I did that. And so then you could sign that. And then Jody Wilson Raybo, she was my MP, so you have to do that. She was the daughter of the chief of one of the indigenous here. And then what happened is that Justin Trudeau, who was the prime minister, appointed her the first indigenous justice minister in the history of Canada. And then there was a big brouhaha that happened between them, and there was a huge blowout. But the long and short of it is that even though she was the first Indigenous Justice Minister of Canada, and I had petitioned her and I got signatures and everything, and even though I did one of my brothers gave me for Christmas the National Geographic Geo 2.0, and I took a swab and sent it in. And the Aboriginals in Cuba, the indigenous in Cuba, are called Tainos. And that came back from the National Geographic. And I actually have Taino DNA in me. So all these drums and everything, I'm authentic. I can show Taino DNA. So, but what happened? She declined it on April 22nd. So I got declined. I got declined first by Biden because he's a chronarchy. He's one of the time travel guys, controlled by the national security state. And then Jody Wilson Raybo declined it because she didn't want to have a Canadian UFO. She didn't want to sign off on the Canadian government designating me as an Earth representative to the Galactic Council because Trudeau went after her, even though she was the first Canadian Justice Minister. As soon as I put in my delegate, he went after her and he fired her. You follow what I'm saying? There's all been all this drama, man. I mean, this was National Drama City. And so that was her in the House of Commons. And so what have I done now? Well, I've gone to the UN, to the Dag Hammarskjöld, and to the website of the Officer of the High Commissioner for Human Rights, to the Human Rights Council complaint procedure, because I'm a human on Earth, and I want to have my representation at the Regional Galactic Governance Council, right?
Especially with your background.
Yeah. So then,
it must take you seriously, though.
Yeah. So then I went to, and I found out the Human Rights Council complaint procedure, right? So I've downloaded that, and let me just. I'm going to have to stop the sharing because it's a separate document. So I'm just going to stop the share just a second. And then I'm going to go to the share again.
Alfred, do you get any sleep or do you just brainstorm?
Okay. So no, this is being a Flat Planet Gemini. So we operate outside of time. I'm actually in 5D and I operate outside of time.
Yeah, and you're a mouthpiece for everything from that dimension to be expressed so that justice can take place.
There you go. So this is the UN Human Rights Council complaint procedure form. So I'm now going to put this together and I'm going to file it at the UN with, I want to be the Earth representative to the Regional Galactic Governance Council. You follow me? but because it said I couldn't file this unless I had exhausted all the remedies at the national level. What I can show, I'm an American citizen, and my president, Biden, abolished it when he became president, right? And then I went to Canada because I'm a dual citizen, and what happened is that I put in front of Jody Wilson-Raybould, and the prime minister then fired Jody Wilson-Raybould, the first prime minister. Why? Because Justin Trudeau is a puppet of the World Economic Forum. You follow me?
Don't tread down Trudeau's path.
Yeah, you can't make this up. So follow this thing, and I'll report back at every NewsEvolution the progress of this at the United Nations. So this is what I'm doing. All that disclosure stuff in Washington, D.C., that's all play acting. That was set up by the CIA in the early 1980s at the College of the Siskiyous. They had a secret class that Stephen Greer and a bunch of other guys were
That's
in.
where I
Trained them to infiltrate.
Right,
they trained them to infiltrate and to be the UFO disclosure stuff. So don't you believe what they're telling you, Laura. They're all infiltrators. They're all BS.
Can you believe that I was in Mount Shasta, right at the College of the Siskiyous, when the Venus transit happened, doing a conference with Star Knowledge, when I was supposed to be on Mars, right on top of the very school that Andrew Bashago was in that training program.
Well, then you were on top of it, because we're busting it. So that's going. So now what I want to do is just keep up. So that's what I'm going to be showing now. I've just got to go down because I want to show the various
This is changing
books.
the course of history, what you're doing, and this is everything.
I just want to show. I just want to show the various books that I have in progress, so that people know what we're doing, and they'll be ready to go. So that they'll be ready for what's coming down the pike now. Because see, we're up and running. We're not. This is up and running. Let me get everything ready here. And
the time travel component to you, Andy, and
everything,
me, and the fact that you're putting these 3 books out, and we're here together with Patty, and everybody who's listening.
Okay. So I've just got to stop share. So I'm gonna share screen now. So
You've
I've
recoded the judicial system in the way it's supposed to be.
So here we are. The first one, can you see this book? This one here?
Yes.
That's the title, Our New Earth. Proposal to the Regional Galactic Governance Council, How Earth Benefits from a Representative on the Regional Galactic Governance Council, okay? So that is, it's to the Regional Galactic Governance Council. Now, in February of 1973, I was taken aboard their ships along with President Jimmy Carter and Andrew D. Bashago. They brought Andrew D. Bashago up, and he was an eyewitness of me on the ships, and he's testified to that. He testified to that at a UFO Congress that we did in Washington State. He saw me aboard the ships. So I have an eyewitness on there. Okay, so that's Our New Earth. Okay, so that's what it is Our New Earth. And that's a blessed term. It's Our New Earth. It's a new heaven and a new earth. We are moving into the new earth. So that's what's going on. So that I'm already up to page 103 on that. Okay. So that's moving. Then, so I'm coming down and I'm going to share another book. And here we go. And the other book is called Exopolitics 2.0. Okay. My first book was Exopolitics, which I sent you a copy, Laura, when you were living back east, remember? That's how I introduced myself to you when I sent you a copy of the Exopolitics book. And
Oh my God, yes, of course.
yeah, and so this is Exopolitics 2.0, and by Alfred Lambremont Webre. And this is a quote.
That was everything. I don't think I would have gone through those times if we hadn't been in contact with each other.
Yeah,
Oh
and this was in February 1973 when I was taken aboard the Regional Galactic Governance Council ships. There was a Holy Spirit entity which came to me and was communicating telepathically with me. And I asked him, who am I, sort of symbolically? And he said, "Thou art Peter, and upon this rock I shall found my church. And as the wellness of the earth disappears, the rock will come to the fore." And so the Holy Spirit entity was giving me a prophecy or vision of the future in symbolic terms. And so
And the
now,
Rock and Peter are connected with Mary Magdalene and
exactly. So all of this is happening now. And then
I was born in 1973, and you completely appreciate me and my journey and wanting to bring that energy to light, and how the synchronicity with you connected to the Holy Spirit is connecting more dots.
exactly. And my grandmother, my Cuban grandmother on Cuban side, is from a town in Cuba called Santi Spiritu, which means Holy Spirit. And both my grandmother and my mother were called Juana Bautista, which means Joan the Baptist.
Wow. Oh, man.
It's like this symbolic play. So then, and then let me just do one more share. And so this is just one more share. And this is the third book that I'm writing. It's called Report from My Next Life. And that is where I'm going into the afterlife, and I'm reporting from my next life and publishing it as a book.
Wow.
That is so profound. Wow.
Yeah, so that's what I'm doing. And I wanted to bring this report today on 777, which is let go of fear and have a spiritual experience. So thank you very, very much. Thank you so much. And and it's so wonderful to share all of this here on News Evolution, the evolution of the news.
Amen.
Well, that's major news evolution right there.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I look forward to next time, you guys.
Okay.
I'll be on camera next time. I'm just running back and forth, trying to like keep up with animals and kids and some stuff.
Oh yeah. So hallelujah. And we'll send you all of the links, and we'll get together and we'll agree on a date for next time. Thank you all who are following and supporting News Evolution. This is the news ahead of time.
And that's right.
I want to say something because
Sure.
I know, even though I'm not reading comments, people are thinking, how the heck do you put out this much material? How the heck do you keep writing this many books and growing your hair like that? I mean, you are astounding. And you've admitted proudly that you're 80. 80, right? Oh, look at you. That's the secret to your shiny skin. All three of us, me, Laura, and Alfred, take C60 Evo, which I'm really proud of. But this is, I think, Alfred's secret, because I've never seen anybody put out as much intelligent material as you have. You're astounding, constantly. And Laura, she just showed us her dress.
I mean, my dreads usually grow, but at my age, come on.
Yeah.
So
And
your
I
hair's growing
really,
fast.
I really want to acknowledge
Parts of it are.
our colleague, Buckminster Fuller, after whom the fullerene molecule was named, which is the carbon-60 molecule, because it was Buckminster Fuller. We went out to the University of Cincinnati and met with Buckminster Fuller and formed the World Good News Network. And we're talking on the World Good News Network, which was co-founded with Buckminster Fuller, after whom the fullerene molecule was named. And that's carbon-60, the fullerene molecule. So it's all of a piece, which is
It's
kind of
a
nice.
big circle of life, how everything kind of circles around, comes together. I do want to say that I'm really proud to be one of the owners of this company, because my partners are the original carbon-60 guys that still have a lab 32 years later making this miracle molecule. But with my girly help, we've come up with the facial serum that you held up. You've got a really old one with a black label. This is the newer label. But this serum is how Roseanne Barr looks amazing. She's been using a lot of our products. And Bobby Kennedy Jr. And I'm just throwing out names because my job with the company, Chris and Robert run the science. They've got the shipping and all that, which I love not doing. For me, it's coming up with and dealing with, the patriots that are influencers that are out there with the patriot audience that care about health, care about this country, and especially care about being here for our children. So longevity, energy, consciousness, mental stamina, and also mental balance. That's what I'm getting with this. Plus, I'm still here. Yeah, I'm amazed every day that I've survived the things that I have. But my other trick is in my morning coffee. The MCT coconut oil is super delicious. And when I had Roseanne do an interview with us, Roseanne Barr, she loves the avocado on avocado toast every morning. So she slices avocados, drizzles this oil on, and then sea salt. And she says it is the way to start the day. So I did want to brag that you, with your amazing hair and your incredible output at 80 years old, like who, so what, you're 60. But what's a number? It's about output, really. It's about consciousness, kindness, goodness, and compassion. And right now we really need all those things. So Laura had children duty calls, but we had a moment here, and I just want to say thank you to everyone who watches our show and who supports NewsEvolution by just being here, and hit us with a like or subscribe or whatever. I never think to say that because, for me, it's about getting people healthy and also encouraging people to stay conscious. So thank you for writing your books. My Crop Circle films, which won a lot of awards. You can see a couple of them right over there next to my crystal, is Crop Circle Films with an S.com. And this amazing miracle molecule and all the wonderful ways we sell it is C60EVO.com. So check out the website. And if you decide to buy anything, use Alfred's secret code for another 10% off at checkout, which is EV for Evo, ALW, Alfred's initials. And you'll get a little discount at checkout if you decide to try it. But it'd be amazing to be 80 and be pumping out material like you and your newsletters and everything. And people have tried to stop me from moving forward, shall we say, but I'm still here. Knock on wood, life is good. All right, love you much. Good to see you.
Likewise.
And love all of you that take the time to be with us. Hopefully you got something out of this. And until next month, NewsEvolution signing off.
Thank you.